Okay, so first off, who can hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. I don't see you guys. Okay, thank you. They can hear me too. All right, good, good. There's still plenty of room up front. If you guys in the back want.
No, we're too intimidating. I don't want.
Yeah, I know.
I will just, if you're up front, I'm just gonna.
We might come and menace you. You're terrifying with the sea pancake on your head. That's like the most terrifying thing ever.
The sea pancake is a scary one. Yeah, I agree.
All right, who's here because they want to learn about fish?
Good.
Wow, that's a surprising amount of people. Who's here because Jojo? A surprisingly less amount of people, but good still, same amount of hands. But
the fish people are here for the right reason.
No, once you enter the room, you're here for good.
You're gonna learn about fish
now.
and you're gonna like it because fish are fascinating. Much more fascinating than people.
Dolphins are
let me tell
technically
you.
a fish.
You know.
We say fish facts, but we're going to loosely interpret fish as something that lives in the ocean.
And we're going to also loosely interpret facts.
Interpret?
It's all like, it's in parentheses. The entire title is in parentheses.
I mean, by certain definitions of biology, humans are fish, so.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, anything can be a fish if you want to.
And by the laws of the Catholic Church, capybaras are
we started as fish and we should go back to fish. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Jojo, 2023.
I don't mean to spoil the plot of this panel, but that's basically it.
All right, who's having a good time so far at Con? Woo! All right, all right. Now, this is not technically an interactive panel, but we will be more interactive with you guys and more alive, and I will start jumping around. Maybe not that, but I'll start waving my hands if you guys are excited too. So we love energy. If you have something, a comment to say or something, you can throw it out at us. Try to keep things respectful. We are not scientists. We are people that do this for fun because we thought about 3 years ago, we were like, hey, you know what'd be fun? What if we did a fish facts panel with Jojo Factory? Come on. And since then, I have learned never go in the ocean is terrifying. This is actually our 11th time running this panel. We've been running it for 3 years. Some of you guys have been to a fish facts panel before. You went to the Cursed Fish Facts panel. It was great. Most of you guys, I think, are new faces, so it's good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Again, we are not professional scientists. We are just people who really like specific species of things that live in the ocean that are like, these are really cool. Let's talk about them.
Like I said, it's a loose interpretation of fish and facts. So
our goal is that you walk out of here going, that was really fun. I will remember none of these fish, I hope.
But yes, so.
All right, well, I am Chaotic Neutral Cosplay. I will be your cockween this afternoon.
What I don't know. Perfection is my username. You'll find me tagged on his stuff. So.
For the most part. All right, we're gonna stall for like another 3 minutes and see if anybody else walks in, and then we will get started. Good. So,
can you all hear me? I'm gonna try to talk loud because the mics are having issues.
Do you want the mic for when you're doing actual facts?
I don't know. It's like, can it get like out of your hair for a second?
You have to get really close.
No.
Hold it up like this.
Nope.
Oh, it's a microphone. I can hold it up.
I don't understand these technologies. Like, it's fine.
One of us actually got good grades in school.
All I need to know is the ocean. All I do is I stare at starfish for 32 hours, and then I can.
Then he writes an essay on starfish.
Then I know them, and then like that's all I need.
This is the man who was like, I punched a shark. I want to be a marine biologist.
Yeah, that was the decision-making process right there. Things in the ocean are fun to punch. That's all I need.
So you're a marine biologist, not for the sake of conservation, but to harvest.
He's like the Indiana Jones of marine biologists.
No, I only punch the mean things, like Dio. Like, I punch, and the good things I don't punch.
Dio did technically live in the ocean for like 100 years, so does that qualify him as a fish?
I mean, I wouldn't go back.
You're dropping my sea pancake on the floor.
Okay, I'm not that balanced. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I will hold him because
all right.
He's a literal pancake. But yes. Technically, I don't qualify Dio as a fish though. No, because
debate.
Defend your argument.
Well, okay. Defend my argument. No, there is no actual defense. It's just I think that things that are bad be out of the ocean, and things that are good are in the ocean. So if it's bad in the ocean, I'm gonna punch it to death. And if it's good, then I'll let it stay there. It's not that hard. The ocean is my sanctuary, alright? That's all.
Sir, are you okay?
I live a very simple life.
I'm surprised
This was much
that
easier.
your daughter ended up named Jolene instead of like Oceanica or something.
That doesn't start with a J.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish. There we go.
Jojo.
I'd like to point out that he did marry a woman named Marina, and I'm pretty sure that's the only reason
That's,
why.
you know, that makes a lot of sense. He was like, this is the one.
See, like I was on this dating website and I thought it was an actual Marina, but it wasn't. But then it was okay anyways, cause like.
Is that why you divorced her?
Well,
He didn't have enough boats.
We all know it's about the size of your boats, but.
All right, it is 3:35. We are going to go ahead and get started with our fish facts today. Again, raise your hand if you can hear me at the back of the room. Cool.
Hi.
Can you?
Ora.
Do you need to be louder?
Ora.
Okay. All right.
I will.
You must be
I
loud.
will
Be
yell.
aggressive.
If I'm gonna be aggressive, I'm gonna be punching people. That's all I'm saying. But I will yell fish facts because they are important and great. All right.
It's terrifying. All right. We're gonna start off with one of my favorite ocean creatures, the pink dolphin. No, they're not photoshopped. They're known as the Amazon River dolphins. So we're gonna loosely interpret ocean facts. But these are my favorite animals in the ocean.
They're Pockuin's favorite. They had to be in here.
I know, we had to start them because these are my favorite, and I love pink dolphins. I have one on the back of my phone over there. I'm very excited about pink dolphins. So these are Amazon River dolphins. They are obviously found in the Amazon River. They are actually born gray and slowly turn pink as they age. Male dolphins are strikingly pinker than their female counterparts. These river dolphins can sport markings that range from like gray with some pink spots, or they can be full-on flamingo pink. So, you know, if you think like pink dolphin, yeah, they have them. If you Google it, you Google pictures. We don't have internet access down here.
Yeah.
Do we? I don't know. I'm at like one bar. If you guys have more than one bar, please feel free to Google these fish facts. Maybe some of them are terrifying, but like you'll see the pink dolphins are really
like,
cool.
All dolphins are gay, but these ones are the sort of the gay.
The pinky ones, yes, we love them. They actually eat piranhas. Not exclusively, but they're doing their part to keep the river safe for us, you know, if you want to go swimming. So,
do not punch these fish. They are nice.
They pass the
And they're
Jojo
not
niceness
fish, but
scale.
don't punch
All
them.
right. While they are shy creatures, they are fascinatingly drawn to people, playing curiously with local children without demonstrating aggressive behavior. So if you do happen to go to the Amazon and take like a boat tour, they often interact with boat tours. So if you do ever go to the Amazon, I would love to do this someday, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
To the Amazon.
You will probably see them. I know. Would that be cool though?
Wait, what about dolphins that hump people?
I'm sure that happens too, but that's in the PG,
Bottlenose
not in the
dolphins
PG
are right
panel.
to the sea.
Yeah, they really are. They want the attention, and they'll let you know it. But yeah, like.
So one of my other favorite things about pink dolphins is that these are extremely agile creatures because the vertebrae in their necks are unfused, which means they can swivel their head around at like a 90-degree angle, which is more than most other
No,
creatures.
it's 180 degrees, right? They can move from like,
90 degrees.
Yeah, in either direction, yeah. So 180 degrees.
Which allows them to maneuver around trunks, tree trunks, rocks, and other obstacles because, you know, we're talking about the Amazon River, which floods and goes over the tree trunks fairly often.
So they'll just be diving like in and out of through trees, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty impressive, honestly.
They can also
Way more
swim
impressive
forward with one flipper while paddling backwards with another flipper, which lets them turn really abruptly, which is something that other dolphin species and I think almost all fish can't do.
And
so
way
they're
more
crazy
impressive
agile.
than any human can do.
Yeah, no, I can't. How would that?
I mean, you're acceptable, but you're not as graceful as a dolphin.
Man.
No.
I don't think we can be friends anymore.
That's a compliment from me. I don't know.
That was a... Okay, well, I'm unfriending you. They are often also observed to swim upside down, and although we don't know why, we still haven't figured out why, scientists speculate it's to see the river bottom, but I like to think it's just because they're like, oh, it's a human, let's swim upside down to screw with them. In South American culture, they are considered mythical figures that have been revered and worshipped for centuries. And some of our favorite pink dolphin legends, which is actually why we choose to start the panel with them, because they're really cool. My personal favorite is at night, the pink river dolphins morph into handsome men, and they go into the local villages and they seduce women and impregnate them. So that's how they reproduce. They get more pink dolphins.
I too was seduced by a pink dolphin once.
Jolene, do you have something to tell us about your mom?
No, it's great. They bring you back now to their kingdom of Atlantis, and you know.
So another legend about them that Jojo has alluded to is, another one is if you go swimming alone at night and you get stranded or lost, the dolphins will come and whisk you away to a magical underwater city.
They made me king. It was wonderful.
Did you have to punch the last king to do that?
No, I just showed up and they were like, "You are an acceptable human. You may lead us."
Dio was at the ocean for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
They never let him.
Eject Dio from the ocean.
Some also believe them to be the guardians of the Amazon manatees, so those who wish to see one of the manatees, and there are very few left, must first reconcile with the pink dolphins. It is considered bad luck to harm the dolphins, and even worse luck to eat them, so you should never eat a dolphin to begin with, but definitely don't eat one of these ones.
But are they delicious?
No.
They are currently not considered endangered, but due to overfishing, deforestation, and pollution, like everything else on the planet, their habitat is decreasing and they are considered vulnerable.
They're delicious like a unicorn. Yes, but no. Don't do
Have
it.
you ever eaten a unicorn?
Alright, and our next fish is the space jellies.
Oh, you're already on the page.
Sorry.
Okay. So, yes, another fish in parentheses. I promise there is some actual fish on this.
Sorry, I can hold the child. Do you want the thing?
No, I'm fine. So,
Jellyfish not be fish, they got fish in the name.
right, exactly. It's like fish and jelly in the same thing. Like, this is the best thing ever, right? So imagine at NASA, one time they were called into a meeting with the top scientists and they sat down all serious and they want to send jellyfish into space. I personally was at that meeting and it was the best, like, yes, this is the greatest idea. Why? Because although human and jellyfish are about as different as two species can get, they have one very important connection. We both rely on gravity to orient ourselves to know our top from bottom. So NASA sent jellyfish into space to find out if a human body born in space would be able to adjust to gravity once it entered Earth for the first time.
Which is actually very interesting.
Yeah.
I would not have thought of sending jellyfish into space for that.
Personally, I would prefer to live in the ocean as opposed to space. But, you know,
there's more things to punch in the ocean?
There are more things to punch in the ocean, and, you know, Earth is kind of so-so. The answer is no, not really.
Oh.
But yeah, there's just a ... here. But no, not really. The jellyfish had a severe case of vertigo, and some cases of thrashing and pulsing were even reported.
Thrashing and pulsing. Sorry, it's a kitty cat.
Do you want to add something?
No. You're the one who said you married a jellyfish.
I would, yeah. Not gonna even refute that. So basically, sorry, no space babies for a while. When a jelly grows, it forms calcium sulfite crystals at the margin of its bell. These crystals are surrounded by a little cell pocket coated in specialized hairs, and these pockets are equally spaced around the bell. When the jellies turn, the crystals roll down with the gravity to the bottom of their pocket, moving the cell hairs, which in turn send signals to the neurons. In this way, jellies are able to sense up and down.
Isn't it wild how a creature without a brain can be so complex that it can sense, like, I think that's cool. I think this is really cool that we can, like, they can sense gravity through that.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I didn't have a brain and could just be a space creature just floating around in a bliss. All they need is, in this way, jellies are able to sense up and down. All they need is gravity. It works similarly to the way your eardrums help you sense up and down. Oh, okay, louder. Of course, while we're on jellyfish, also, we have another jellyfish that's an honorable mention for this slide.
Of it, no.
Yeah, we don't have a picture of this one, but there is a jellyfish that is immortal.
Yes.
Yes, which also, again, a feature that, like, is way better than any human has ever managed to obtain. Dio, yeah.
Dio's actually a jellyfish.
No!
No brain, immortal.
No brain, immortal, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, because that tarnishes the great name of jellyfish, and I refuse to call that abomination
Okay,
a
that's fair.
jellyfish.
That's fair.
Basically, once these jellies reach a certain age, they actually revert back to a polyp form, which is the baby form of the jellyfish. Yeah.
The beginning of a jellyfish.
And grow up all over again. And technically, it's the same cells, so scientifically speaking, it's the same jellyfish. This ability is achieved through a rare process called transdifferentiation, the action of a mature specialized cell transforming into a completely different mature specialized cell. Scientists have been studying the cellular mechanism for its potential use in medicine. There are some factors that that prohibit this rebirth, like starvation, if it's too large of a bell, and then water colder than 22 degrees Celsius. So, but still.
The jellyfish rebirth thing. It kind of reminds me of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
A complete like snippet of this jellyfish will just create a whole new one.
So the pink pink dolphin, is that like, are they pink because they like eat shrimp? Or
It's a mixture of diet, temperature, and life experience from what we've found so far. So it does have some to do with diet, but it's not necessarily just diet like with flamingos. Also, gender can influence that.
Yeah, because
heat, just like the temperature of the water they grow up in.
Because they do range from like a pinkish gray to like a Barbie
so
pink.
It does have some to do with what they eat, but not necessarily like what we think of like with flamingos, where flamingos are pink because of the shrimp they eat. So yeah.
I was just wondering if it was a shrimp or if it was like an albino thing.
No, it's
No, they're
it's
definitely
just
not
what they
all
do,
albino.
so
Yeah,
it's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, hidden person behind our TV screen.
Oh, those things.
All right. So again, welcome to our fish facts panel. We're going to talk about Yeti crabs, which are my favorite kind of crabs. These are called kiwa. They are a species of recently discovered crabs that inhabit hydrothermal vents in the deep sea. They have, 3 nicknames that are often used instead of their actual name, which are Yeti crab, Yeti lobster, or furry lobster. And you can imagine why.
And I've added fuzzy boys.
And fuzzy boys.
That, scientifically
Jojo
speaking, I've added
fuzzy
boys. I've added my own classification.
If you just drop fuzzy boys in a conversation, I will totally know what you're talking about.
You will, because I talk about these things a lot. But
right.
Yes. I add my own classification to everything. Go for
Thank you. These names come from the hairy and bristly appearance, which resembles the legendary snow monster Yeti, obviously. It is thought that they can live up to 20 years, which is pretty good for a crustacean. They are wee little crabbies. They only clock in at about 6 inches long. So fortunately, they're not massive things that are going to cut our legs off. They're just tiny little crabbies. There are a total of 4 known species. And although they appear to be carnivorous, they eat bacteria, which is fertilized on their own legs. To encourage the growth of the bacteria, the Yeti crabs have been seen waving their arms back and forth into the hydrothermal vents. So they just guard.
I would not recommend licking your own arms for sustenance. That doesn't actually work for humans, unfortunately. But
thank you for the only good fatherly advice you ever gave.
I have tested a lot of theories. All right, that's all I'm saying.
All right. We mentioned that this creature was recently discovered. So the first species was discovered in 2005, which was a long time ago now, but it isn't that long time ago in science. And the most recent was in 2013. The Yeti crab is actually a squat lobster.
Swapster, as I call them.
Lobster.
I have my own scientific names. And they are science because I am a scientist.
You're a marine biologist.
Which is a scientist.
There are many benefits
We
to
thank
marine
God that
biology.
Jojo did not discover any new ocean species.
But I looked at a starfish for a long time.
The official names comes from the Polynesian mythology. That's how you say that word. The goddess Kiwa is the goddess of shellfish. So one species of Yeti crab has a hairy chest, which inspired the nickname of Hoff crab by researchers in honor, of course, of the infamous David Hasselhoff.
Oh my god.
Wow.
All right.
I love that.
So now we get to talk about my favorite sharks.
Oh, yeah,
You can't tell?
This one's
This
yours
panel
too.
is just all our favorite ocean creatures. So the cookie cutter sharks, these things are terrifying, but the good news is you will likely never see one. This shark was discovered back in 1824, which is a long time ago when we consider like the Yeti crabs were discovered like this century, you know? So back then, they used to sometimes take chomps out of wooden sailing vessels, but because they fed at night, not much was known about them, and they just basically inspired fear and kind of perpetuated the myth of sea monsters at sea, like going about and chomping on boats. And guess what?
Right, huh?
Today, I know they are, right?
That's such a
Today, we still don't know too much about these little guys. They are one of the species of sharks we know very little about because we just don't have a lot. We don't see them. They're out in the middle of the ocean. They don't come up to land like most other sharks. And they're very small, so really the only ones we've been able to study are ones that are just floating in the ocean because they were dead and we picked them up. You know?
I host little funerals, and you know.
But they are little guys. The males grow to a maximum of 16.5 inches, while the females grow to a maximum of 22 inches. You are not good at estimating inches.
What is that? Is that?
It might be. You can take that however you like.
Oh my god.
But that's pretty baby compared to the better known brethren, such as the great whites. We can grow up to 20 foot long when they are fully grown.
22 inches versus 20. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know that.
that's
a lot
So
bigger.
where do we start with these things? How about their name? Unlike what the name cookie cutter suggests, these sharks' bites are actually more like ice cream scoops. They're circular. So these unique creatures will swim up to their prey and suction onto them with these lips that you can kind of see here. And then they latch on with their nasty teeth and they rotate their entire bodies like a wrench to carve out an entire scoop out of whatever they're eating. Speaking of their teeth, these little things down here, the cookie cutter's teeth are all actually fused together, so it's just one giant tooth. So when that thing gets stuck in something like a wooden hull or a submarine, and yes, that's happened, they have to leave behind their whole set of chompers.
But they can grow back. It's fine. Again, superior nature design. Submarines can't grow back. Submarine.
How do they eat while it's growing back?
They die. No, they're fine.
They have multiple sets. I think they have like 7 sets.
Yeah, they go
So
back
they
pretty
do
quickly.
grow back, or they're like most sharks, where when a shark loses a tooth, they already, unlike
like
humans, where we have to grow in new teeth, sharks have more teeth just inside their jaws that just pop out. It's really fun design. So these guys have, I think it's 7 sets of teeth, so they will occasionally lose their teeth throughout their lifetime. So besides sharks and other large fish like tuna and swordfish, cookie cutters have been known to snack on orcas, dolphins, sea turtles, and even the occasional long distance swimmer. But most of us don't have that as a hobby, so we don't have to worry about that.
I do.
Their bites are incredibly painful, as you can imagine, but they are fortunately not fatal, because again, these guys are like this big, so they're not going to eat your, you know, they're not going to jaws you.
I try not to punch them, but sometimes I have to. Because, you know.
This is just a rating of how much would Jojo punch these fish creatures.
Oh, we should do that panel too. Because, like, this is a solid, like, 6 out of 10 punchable shark.
Okay. Have we mentioned that they also snack on nuclear submarines? Cookie cutters took chunks out of the neoprene-covered sonar domes on several American subs, which caused sound-transmitting oil to leak and blinded the vehicles. To solve the problem, the domes were covered in fiberglass, which apparently is not as tasty.
Wait, fiberglass or
Fiberglass.
Okay, I was gonna say like
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass is also probably not as tasty.
Grass
So
is
the good
technically-
news is these little guys live about 3,000 feet below the surface. on daylight hours, and they only come up to surface levels in the open ocean to feed at night. So you should never run into one unless, you know, you're swimming in the ocean in the middle of the night, which hopefully won't happen to most of us. But my favorite fact, which I have saved for last, is that these fish are actually bioluminescent. So you see the white underbellies that you can kind of see here? That actually glows to attract their prey. It can grow up to 3 hours after they're dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Again, like this, the second lesson of this panel is to never go into the ocean. Just to literally never go into the ocean. Oh, so yes, look at these. Aren't they beautiful? They're glorious. Yes. Nudibranches are another group of soft-bodied gastro.
Fish.
Yeah, I was going to say fish in parentheses. In the fact that they live in the ocean. They are soft-bodied gastropod mollusks.
Mollusks. Yeah.
Mollusks?
Mollusks.
Mollusks.
Sorry, it's very small print. I wrote in small print.
Mollusci. I'm going to make up another mollusci. They are mollusci. It's not made up if you are a scientist, because then you can just do what you want, which is why I became a scientist.
Words to live from. Okay.
Just become scientists and think you can do what you like. Some are known for their extraordinary colors and striking forms. I would actually say most of them are known for their extraordinary colors and striking forms, which again, these are just much more aesthetic than any person has ever been in their life. Let's admit that. Sorry, Kat.
Your daughter is like right there, and there, and there. Do you want to take that back?
No.
What do you think Jolene dresses like Jolene dresses?
Again, that's prettier. I can't.
She even has the antennas.
Oh. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna just say this louder into the microphone. Again, that's prettier.
Can you hear?
Yes. Yes. Well, I have a type. That's all I can say.
I see. What am I then?
I can answer, but I don't think you're going to like the answer.
Moving on.
But yes, and they have been given nicknames to match, such as Sea Goddess, Splendid, Dragon, Painted, or Dancer, just to name a few. Which, look at them. Yes, all of those. I would call all of them that. Currently, about 3,000 valid species of nudibranches are known. Hashtag valid nudibranch. To protect themselves, they rely on toxins or unpleasant tasting chemicals, which are advertised with extremely vivid colors. A pair of tentacles called the rhinospores are on the nudibranch's head to have scent receptors that allow the nudibranch to smell its food. Because the rhinospores stick out and can be a target for hungry fish, most nudibranches have the ability to withdraw the rhinospores and hide them in a pocket in their skin if the nudibranch senses danger.
Kind of like your hat.
I was going to say that's much like how my jacket works.
Oh.
I am the nondescript Japanese high school student. Like, please don't talk to me. I will punch you. But yes, they're so beautifully like naturally designed for defense as well. Unlike many humans, which are very punchable. Nudibranches.
Dude, have you considered therapy
as
an alternative to punching?
I studied marine biology instead. It was much more therapeutic. Nudibranches are hermaphrodites. Because they move slowly, they need to be ready for reproduction whenever they meet another nudibranch, no matter if it's female or male. This makes reproduction process very convenient for nudibranches. It's basically which one is more dominant than the other one will in parentheses win.
It's like other snails.
Basically. I mean, which one punches the hardest, I guess. into the other. Anyway, there are certain, I can't say much, it's not the AP cluster's fault. There are certain species of sea slugs that produce solar power by eating corals that are rich in algae. Nudibranches absorb the chloroplast of the algae and engage in photosynthesis. The created nutrients help nudibranches to survive and obtain the established energy for several months. So again, another feature that is much more advanced than humans will ever know. And they may look cute, but many species of nudibranch will actually eat each other.
So are they gonna mate or are they gonna eat?
That's the mystery of the ocean.
Yes.
Just like almost everything else in the sea.
The next one is also yours.
Oh, okay. I get two in a row. You got two in a row, so I get two in a row. Oh, look at this one. It's beautiful. The blue dragon. Actually, we have a plushie of this coming, but I'm sad it wasn't.
Very excited. I was hoping he would come in time. We could bring him and just be like, look. But
this one's special too. It's my favorite nudibranch. It's also a nudibranch. Spoiler alert. Also known as the blue dragon, sea swallow, or blue angel, the blue glaucus is a species of brightly colored nudibranch, which can be found throughout the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans in temperate and tropical waters. You know, I kind of wonder if this is why Jolene dresses in all like the blue. Are you trying to attract my attention by dressing like a nudibranch?
Father, look at me. I'm like a fish.
I'm as colorful and ridiculous as any fish you like. Please appreciate me. It works kind of. If only you lived in the ocean too. And temperate and tropical waters. Like most nudibranches, this species incorporates toxic chemicals or stinging cells from its prey into its own skin.
Notice how those hands are holding it just there.
Don't be like these humans in the slide.
Right, that's like another, they pointed later in this thing. The blue glaucus rarely reaches more than 3 inches long.
They're babies.
Yeah.
They're babies.
There you go, look at it, it's cute. It's probably stinging that human, which that human deserves. Wonderful. I also have held one though, just because I needed to. For the selfie. The creature often floats
You are an awful marine biologist. Please continue.
I need to do a lot of things for my own happiness. The creature often floats on its backside, showing its brightly colored underbelly to airborne predators. The bright blue color acts as camouflage against the backdrop of the ocean waves, while the animal's grayish backside blends in with the bright sea surface, concealing it from predators below. Their preferred food is actually the Portuguese man-o'-war, so yay for eating something that's kind of shitty in the ocean. And they store the stinging enzymes in their little tentacles to be released when they're touched. So if you happen to see 1 or 20 washes up, you don't touch. So these people will be in pain later, it's fine. A group of blue glaucuses floating together is called a blue fleet. These blue fleets often wash ashore and can sting people swimming in the water.
Closer.
Oh, sorry.
Louder.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Sadly, these little creatures do not fare well in captivity, so we don't know much about them other than their preferred foods.
Yeah.
So this is an artist's rendition of a frogfish, and it's because Kakuin deemed the actual picture of a frogfish and the videos we watched to be too disturbing.
Okay.
I don't know. He has a problem with frogs.
I first of all, I don't like frogs, but secondly, this thing is terrifying, and when I am done with this, you will be like, why aren't they making like horror movies about frogfish instead of sharks? So the first result when I was Googling, like doing research and stuff, the first Google result when I was looking up frogfish facts was frogfish for sale in my area. And I was like, please, it is time for me to leave this planet.
Kakuin, I've already bought 3 of them, just saying. If I see a frogfish for sale in my area, I'm gonna get it.
I hate you. we are definitely unfriended. First of all, you're like, you don't look enough like a fish to be my friend. Anyway.
Kind of like a frog, though.
Oh!
If I put you in the water, would you get no?
Alright, so the frogfish can actually camouflage to look like different environments, like we know with chameleons and stuff. So that's what this fish does. It also, this little thing, I didn't bring my pointer today, but this little thing up here is actually a lure that it uses to bring fish in to jump on. And because of its complex camouflage and luring behaviors, the frogfish is considered one of the most complicated, efficient examples of aggressive mimicry, which basically aggressive mimicry means like it's trying to eat whatever it mimics in. The frogfish is carnivorous, so will eat you. and it has the fastest known prey engulf rate of any vertebrate. That means they can consume you extremely quickly. The bite is a ridiculously fast vacuum, so it will suck you in and bite you. That's created when its mouth balloons to 12 times the size of the original mouth that you see here. Just like, oh.
And they can be the size
and then it will suck you in, so imagine that. And then it can bite as fast as 1.16th of a millisecond.
And
that's faster than you can blink.
They can be the size of a small dog, for reference, so they could.
So just imagine that thing biting off your foot.
I thought they were tiny.
No.
They can be the size of a small dog.
There are smaller species, but the large ones are very large. No, they don't eat humans that we know of, but if you look into their scary eyes, you might doubt it like I do.
They're dead, soulless eyes that I like. I vibe with.
Unlike the chameleon, the frogfish is unable to change its color quickly, which is the one advantage we have. Instead, it takes several weeks to completely change. They've been known to imitate coral, seaweed, other fish, and nudibranches. See, referencing back to where, okay, all right. So one of the other terrifying things about frogfish is they swim by jet propulsion. They suck air in and they shoot it backwards out of their tube-like gills that propel it along rather than using a tail like most fish. So they just go shoot.
Rocket-powered fish.
Like a rocket-powered fish.
God, the design is just
it also lacks a swim bladder, which means it doesn't float. So instead it is found often walking on the ocean floor. Walking on the ocean floor on their fins, because their fins are hard. So they walk, well, not hard, but they have hard, what's the word, webbing in their fins. So they just walk across the ocean floor, and then they jet propel at you, and then they eat you. So like, this is kind of terrifying. These are terrifying. I'm just, can you imagine like these things being like, I want to eat a human one day? You know, there's nothing we can do. To sum up, it's fast, it camouflage, it walks on legs, it eats meat, and I still want to know why we haven't made a horror film about the frogfish instead of sharks, you know? If you need nightmare fuel, you can consider Googling the hairy frogfish, and then don't thank me.
So if someone were to do a horror movie about that, the only one who could do it is the studio that did the Sharknado movies.
Yeah.
I would watch that movie though.
I would still watch it. That's actually pretty popular. So yeah.
And like I'm pretty sure that like a similar concept of like terrifying walking fish was done by Jojo and Gio.
Yeah, actually. And speaking of walking fish.
Okay, speaking of walking fish. Alright, so moving on to another, I really like sharks if you can't tell. This is another one of my favorite species of shark. These are the wobbegong sharks. The wobbegong name might sound like something out of a Dr. Seuss book, but it's actually a real word. It comes from Aboriginal language, which you know the natives of Australia, and it means shaggy beard because they have these little things here that look like a beard. It's kind of cute. Yeah, in Australia they actually refer to them as wobies. It's just a fun thing. A wobbegong. And so cute.
Yes, and you actually want to get one.
I want to get one.
Like
you won't let me.
You can't own these.
Yeah, that's actually my last fact. Okay, but thank you for spoiling my. Wobbegong sharks actually have another name. They are called carpet sharks. This is because they are bottom-dwelling sharks. They live on the ocean floor.
Also, they're very magical.
They are greenish or brownish in color, which is covered with a unique pattern of bold markings that kind of looks like the horrible 70s carpet in our den. And it keeps it camouflaged against the sand, hiding them from larger fish that might want to eat them, and other marine mammals. Unfortunately, sometimes they are so well hidden that people end up stepping on them and resulting in nasty bites.
They'll only bite you if you step on them, though.
Yes, they are actually very gentle sharks. They don't attack. They only bite you if you step on them. Which, if you step on me, I'm going to bite you too. So, you know, that's fair. So they do not eat humans, but yeah, they will bite you if you step on them.
Yes. Which, to be fair, if you step on me, I also will bite you. So
fortunately, they are mostly found in the shallow waters of Australia and Indonesia, except for the Japanese wobbegong, which is obviously found in Japan. There's a lot of like snorkeling and scuba diving around there. So it does happen fairly often. A couple times a year, people get bit by these carpet sharks. I lost my place. This scrolled way too. Okay, I'm alright. I'm okay. Wobegongs can move across the ocean floor using their bottom fins, which makes them look like they are walking. However, they're usually very lazy and they just drag themselves along or don't move at all. They're a very lazy shark. We love this shark. They're so cool. However, they have been seen climbing out of the water to go from one tide pool to the next. As long as their gills are wet, they can survive a brief trip.
Walking sharks. The next
walking sharks. There we go. We had the frogfish. Now we're ready for the walking sharks.
How evolution worked, right? So they're coming. They're gonna be here soon.
They're coming after us.
I'd rather have
in a few years.
than frogfish.
Same. So, as you spoiled my last point, but if you want to keep a shark as a pet, a woebegong shark is actually legal to keep. Although only the smaller species, because a lot of them are very small. Unless you happen to have a tank as big as a swimming pool. However, most of the time it'll just be lying at the bottom of the tank, so they're not exactly sharks that people are like, oh, I want to keep this, you know. We have a swimming pool, and you won't let me get a shark to put at the bottom of the swimming pool, but I'm like, it's me, come on.
It will be stepped on, and I don't trust you or anyone.
Yeah, we'll be like, well, they do, bite if you step on them. Jojo knows from experience.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I try not to step on sharks.
Comment more like, there is actually a type of shark that can't walk on land. It's called the epaulet shark. And
I'm gonna have to put that in my next panel.
It lives in Australian tide pools and it walks
Everything
around.
scary lives in Australia.
So sharks are evolving and are going to be up here. That's the point of this panel as well. All right. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to get a little
bit fantasy. Spooky fantasy, some historical legends coming at you.
Yes, we're going to get
this is one of Jotaro's favorite animals, mammals, ocean fish to feature.
All ocean creatures are my favorite.
All right, but
there is no. Okay. Okay, so the mythical morose. People have always been fascinated with the sea and the creatures in it. I know this for a fact. So let's talk for a moment about our favorite creatures. That was one of our favorite creatures that was widely popularized by the scientists of the early Renaissance, who definitely didn't stop to fact check or watch this animal for several days and hours at a time, because clearly. Amongst the sort of curiosities described in the 1555 tome on Nordic life was the morose, a fearsome beast that was said to snooze upon cliffs while hanging by its teeth. And these are quotations. To the far north there lives a mighty creature, as big as an elephant, called the morose, perhaps so named for its sharp bite. For if it glimpses a man upon the shore and can catch him, it leaps on him swiftly, rends him with its teeth, and kills him in an instant. Another quote. Using their tusk, these animals can clamber right up to the cliff tops as if they were going up a ladder in order to crop the sweet, dew-moistened grass. Wow, these are very descriptive quotes. They then roll back down into the sea again.
That's what I pictured, just like a barrel roll.
Unless, in the meantime, have been overcome with a heavy drowsiness and fall asleep as they cling to the rocks. Mood.
That would be you, yeah.
I've been found floating in the ocean just because I needed a nap very dramatically. It's fine, the sea vessels understand when they find me. As you may have guessed, you can go to the next slide now. As you may have guessed, which I don't know if any of you actually guessed from those descriptions. These creatures, look at how dumb it looks.
See, I was going for scholarly.
Not that any creature of the ocean looks dumb, but if I had to pick one, as you may have guessed, these creatures are the ever popular walrus. Yes, they're clearly fearsome beasts. So many people were taken with the fictional accounts of walruses that so many so-called scientists actually built their own morose models and displayed them as actual creatures.
They still have them in certain museums. You can go and see these models that the scientists of the time cobbled together of this mythical creature that was a walrus.
Well, in fact, when scientists tried to preserve the first ever walrus so people could learn the true facts about them, they didn't even know what it looked like and overstuffed it so it didn't have any wrinkles.
If you Google the first stuffed walrus, it's just like it's amazing. That'll make up for the frogfish, I swear.
Yeah. If you need some like comfort after the frogfish, go to the stuffed walruses. But yeah, so clearly they didn't just live the life of the walrus. Some walrus facts you may or may not know. So they're actually well known for attacking humans. There have been many documented cases where walrus have attacked small boats or kayaks, which have led to death. There have been documented cases of walruses breaking through the ice underneath a hunter to attack them, and in an instance where a walrus launched itself out of the ocean to stab a hunter with its tusks. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe some of the fictional accounts actually did witness some violent walruses. Apparently they do have a little bit of a lust for blood. But that's understandable, you know. Humans are infuriating.
I'll get you in a minute.
Walruses are typically a cinnamon brown color, but they can turn white after diving or pink when their bodies are warm. They do this by varying their blood supply to the different parts of their bodies.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Like, I wish I had that ability. I say as I'm freezing
We all
here.
just want to be a nice pink warm walrus. I don't know. I do. A walrus tusks keep growing, just like beavers or rats' teeth. So just getting more and more majestic. Walrus blubber can be up to 6 inches thick. Walrus diets are not picky and they prefer to eat clams. However, the carcasses of young seals will also suffice when food is scarce. And while it is not common, some walruses even hunt ringed and bearded seals. The walruses are almost always sizable males with large shoulders and strong. These walruses are almost always sizable males with large shoulders and strong chest muscles.
Like Star Platinum.
Right, exactly. I'm just like,
Same mine.
There's some sexy walruses.
You had a question.
How many walruses do you think you could take in a fight? Which one of you could take more?
Well, it depends. Are they strong chested with the broad muscle walruses?
They're the big buff walrus.
Can I use some
realistically, I think I would have a better chance because my stand is a long range stand, so I can just like.
And no one can defeat
the
True.
Punching.
But you can punch what, one walrus at a time?
And Star Platinum can punch I can punch at least two.
You can punch 2 walruses at the same time.
Like 5, so I'd say like a solid 7.
Oh wait, you are punching the walrus,
No,
like you physically Jojo.
I asked if I could use Star Platinum, but also I can punch walruses too. Therefore,
yeah, but with 6 inches of blubber, is a punch gonna do much?
Next Jojo villain.
Just 7 walruses in a trench coat.
That's a big ass trench coat.
That's a big trench coat.
Alright. Alright. Yeah, we have like I think 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna see how long this fax takes us. This might be what did you call them?
Unicorns.
Say that again.
Unicorns.
But now we need the sparkles around your head. Alright, so everybody's favorite sea unicorn, narwhals. So, fun fact, narwhals have never been successfully kept in captivity, which I'm like, yay, good.
Yay.
But the only way to view them is in the wild, so we don't know too much about them because we can't get too close to them to study them. However, we do know that they typically live 30 to 40 years in the wild, which is awesome, although some have been reported to live up to 50 years. Newborn narwhals are speckled blue-gray, teens are blue-black, and adults are speckled gray, and then as they age, they become mostly white.
Wow.
While scientists don't yet know the purpose that the tusk serves, we do know it's actually a giant tooth that grows through the narwhal's forehead. Both males and females can have tusks, though it is primarily found on males, and they are often seen playfully battling with them. The tusks are actually a left side protrusion in scientist lingo. A left side, do you have a left side protrusion? Sometimes though, they can develop right side protrusions and the narwhal can have two tusks. Kind of like Johnny.
Say any comments because we're not like PG.
I'm sorry. Do you want to throw the narwhal in the 18+ panel next time?
Maybe.
So the reason that I included the narwhal is I like fish that have fun legends to them. And the Inuit people have a legend about how the narwhal came to be. And I think it's very fun. It's not, it's actually very tragic, but I think it's fun. It was once a people.
History.
To be exact, it was once an evil stepmother people who was very cruel and starved her blind stepson nearly to death. And then one day there was a pack of whales swimming near their home, and the stepmother had the son help her attempt to catch one, only instead he lashed her to the whale and she was carried away. However, instead of dying like a normal people, she used her long hair and pleated it into a tusk, because that's the first thing you do when you're being carried away by a whale. And she was transformed into a narwhal, and apparently lived happily ever after. But so did the son, so that's how the story ends.
Isn't that the dream, just to live the violentest lifestyle you can and then just become a beautiful sea creature?
What's the moral of the story?
All right,
There you go.
do we have...
The moral of the story is we should just go back to live. We came from the ocean, we should go back there. That's the moral of the story.
All right, that is all the time we have for today for Fish Facts, yeah. We have 5 minutes to wrap up, so.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yes.
Fish fact, do you have a fish fact for us?
Two species of pink dolphin that live in totally different geographical areas.
No, but this is something I'm going to have to hear about now.
He's pink dolphin that lives in the Yangtze River.
Oh.
Oh, I have heard of
Wow.
them actually. It's like, yeah, mostly like you hear about the Amazon ones.
Yep.
But you're right, I have heard that the...
I'm going to have to go and add them to my panel now because I need more pink dolphins in my life.
Populations, that's very good.
That's awesome. That actually makes me really happy. So, thank you for that fish fact. That is a great note to end on. All right. Any other really quick questions? Okay, cool. Cool.
Okay.
All right. The oceans are precious. Please protect them, but don't go in them. They're terrifying too. So thank you all for coming. I'm wrapping up. I am Chaotic Neutral Cosplay. I have been your Kakui. This is Perfection. She has been your Jotaro. Thank you for coming. Have a great rest of your con. I do not know what the next panel in this room is, but we will see you guys all later.
Yeah. The funniest thing is this is not the first time this has happened to us. They're gonna show up. I saw fish on the cruise. Like, I don't know. It's so cool though. Thank you so much for coming. You're welcome. We tried to put as much facts as we could, but honestly, like half the time it's just like I want to punch you. Oh no, I love that. I'm very excited. I'm moving myself. Where do you want to
Yes, I did. I tried my best.
That was the first time we did the fish facts.
Actually, we haven't been to panels.
I'm scared that I went too
That and then there was the disaster that was like, what was it? It wasn't anything. It was the Memorial Day, and then there was something.
Oh my god, I remember that.
I remember that. We were supposed to do a couple panels of both of those, and they did
They were fun to like connect, yeah.
We're still friends with a lot of people. It's kind of like an actual school.
I know, right? I was like, well, I was gonna say like we're just like we don't have like much panel concept for this except for Wikipedia, a lot of fish in and then just like spin facts.
Oh, she's still not. I do my best to find as many like scientific facts and proof them as I can. But
right,
again,
I just make stupid comments.
Yeah, you do need to add like a punchability rating.
Actually,
yeah, we should add that to the next slide.
No, we should just like
add it at the bottom as a
note. How much and why would you ever punch this fish in parentheses if it happened? Because like I feel like there's a potential. Punch potential. Punch potential for everything has a punch potential.